All right, it's 12 o'clock. Let's call the Economic Development Authority regular meeting for Wednesday, October
You
22nd.
might have to turn your microphone on.
To order. Please call roll.
Black.
Here.
Stai.
Here.
Grinde.
Here.
Hecht.
Here.
Horken.
Here.
Helms.
Here.
All right, approval of minutes for September 17th regular meeting.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Carry on, thank you. Bills and payroll. Review of accounts payable October 7th, 2025 and October 21st, 2025. Any questions? Please refer to Carla again. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay, we'll move on. Thank you. Delinquency updates.
None.
Yee-hee. Director's report.
Okay. So, let's see. Last month I went on a week-long EDAM basic economic development course, and it was great. It was very, very long days in Duluth, but we got to see Working Mind, which was really cool because I've personally never been to one. So we got to meet with a lot of different entities like the Port Authority, different EDAs and economic developers. So it was a really valuable course, and it was helpful having taken it about a year in, because then I knew if I was charting down the right path or not. So it was also nice too, because we learned that our community is actually ahead on some of the initiatives that we're doing and the things that we offer. So it was a great training. And then other things that we worked on were supporting recruitment and retention. There's been some other businesses in town that are looking at moving in and what potential incentives we have and different funding programs, and working towards recruiting them. And let's see, just researching just different potential industries that we could try to encourage to come here. So that is the update.
Very good, thank you. Carla, financial reports.
Thank you. Everybody got the spreadsheets for each fund, and then in the packet is the cash amounts for all those funds. And like most months, it's normal activity, and I guess if there's any questions.
Any questions for Carla on the financial reports? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Social media and ads report.
Okay, so there's an extra sheet with that social media one, because we're doing a 4-month-long advertising campaign, which is tracking below budget, which is great, but not necessarily great depending on how you look at it, because it charges cost per click. So we don't have a ton of clicks, but the ad is more just a call to action to shop locally. So there isn't really a need to click, but as long as we're getting pretty good exposure and reach, that's kind of the goal behind it. And so we ran 2 campaigns together. One was a test campaign, so we loaded 4 pictures in and 4 different captions, and then it kind of like shuffles it through and tests it to different groups within Facebook to see how they engage with it. And so it defaulted to, I think, campaign B, and that's the one that it's running. So I don't actually get to see what that looks like. The world does. So if you run across our ads, it's from campaign B. So you can click on it if you want, but that will charge us money. So maybe just observe it and enjoy it. But do click on and like our different business spotlights. They're doing really great as per usual. Brent has been reaching out to many different businesses and getting awesome content. There has been a little bit of struggle to get people to actually fully send over their information. So if you know any businesses that are in town, remind them, hey, don't forget to send your stuff over, because then it makes her job a little easier. At one point, I think she had 10 outreaches going, and we're like, we need something lined up for Monday. So that could be a way you guys could help. But we're doing really great. Our reach, our views, they are way better than what they were in years prior.
Facebook ads are tough. The algorithms.
isn't set up super great.
It's so confusing.
Well, we have for the yoga studio and for the hair salon, we do advertising for it. And I'm an admin on both of those pages.
Yeah.
And the ads that my wife sets up show up on my Facebook feed, why that should never show up. Because it's making me pay for an ad that I run. So it's...
Sounds like a pretty good business plan.
Yeah.
After Facebook, it's okay, but
I don't have the patience for it.
yeah. Are you able to edit like keywords or anything like that, or is it basically just you're typing in the demographic and the range that you want to put?
Yeah, so initially we tried to do it through, there's two parts to the ads manager, which is confusing. So we set it up on the one, and then it didn't save it, so then we had to reload it all into the ads manager part. But we set it to be like all the way up to Winnipeg with like 50-mile radiuses of different like hub spots within like Minnesota, like obviously here, trying to reach into the rural communities and through North Dakota. And I think we did a little bit in like southern parts of the state to kind of maybe tap into, because we don't know if people are traveling up and through like the region, they want to stop in or see more like what the community has. And then we picked different demographics of like, because we're thinking like, who are your primary shoppers? Like maybe high schoolers, people with some college education, homemakers, dads. We had like a whole list that we like kind of keyed into.
When we did the capture committee, one of the other regions that we pull from too was the Sioux Falls area.
Oh,
Especially during this time of the year with hockey games,
That's a good
hockey
one.
tournaments.
I think I can go in and edit it, so maybe I'll add that.
Just a thought. Mm-hmm. And then of course down at the cities too, we pulled them.
Yeah.
Do you get a report of where the clicks are coming from?
I don't think this is the report that is on that last page. I don't think they're clickable to see where they're coming from.
Sure,
Which is-
that would be interesting to see. You know, if you've got say
Yeah.
instead of 300-mile radius set,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how far out is it coming? Is it,
Yeah.
It's going to depend on the user's activity as well, because if they aren't clicking on other things that are close to us, I don't think the ad is going to reach them.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see the lead generation. Maybe I'll try to drill down into it and see what I can find.
Went over my head. How about you, Ben?
I'm just listening.
Yep. All right, moving on. Unfinished business. Microloan MIF parameter.
Okay, so we approved the we approved the microloan program at our last meeting, but there's just that one outstanding item of finding out, is there a requirement to have a wage amount because we're using MIF interest funds? So the senior, I think, loan representative for our region spoke with Deed and the different higher-ups, and she said yes, because it is loosely connected to originally MIF funds, it would fall within that requirement. So they had it set to something else. I was like, this is more than like a small 1-2 person business can offer. We don't want to like exclude people because this is a microloan. It should be attainable. So they agreed upon if $17, and that would be like minimum pay, but that could also include benefits if they say they're paying like $8, and then they would just bring up to the benefits to hit that $17 mark. So I guess it's a matter of like, do we like this idea? Do we want to include it? If not, we could try to look to remove any MIF funds and then have just the microloan come from the other revolving loans that don't have this requirement.
So the current minimum wage for Minnesota is
It's
11
It's
cent- it's
11.76 or
okay.
something. It's, I think it
I know
was
it's
up on
different for
January
the
1st
cities.
again.
Okay. So then when they talk about benefits, like what can be included
Vacation,
as
maybe?
benefits?
Yeah,
That's
like
what I'm
health
kind of wondering.
Oh,
insurance.
they pay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking from a management standpoint, what's the
Well, because they're
overhead?
basing it on 2,080 hours, so they're,
I think
Yeah.
healthcare, depending upon if they're
Health,
providing
401k, vacation.
holidays.
holiday pay.
So it's $11.13. You can include, if it's a restaurant, you can include the tips, we consider their wages.
And this was just a copy paste in that mathematical equation of what she sent me.
Okay.
I guess one question I would have on this is, and this would be for business owners, is does this make this appealing to them to do these microloans if this is a stipulation? And then the other part would be to you, how are we going to, how much work are you going to have to put in to pull this data to make sure that they're compliant?
Yeah.
And how are you going to do it? I don't see that being easy.
Right.
And I see it putting more burden on a business owner to provide that information to us. I guess those are my concerns. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on it.
Or you're narrowing your field, I mean,
Right.
really quickly of who can
Right.
apply.
Right, because not every small business can offer necessarily health insurance right out the gate or vacation.
Unless the state mandates it.
Oh, that's true.
How much of the
I
funds?
think there is some mandates going on there for ESST and
Yeah.
all that other stuff, so I would imagine some of that's going to be included in that benefit pack.
That was kind of the other part too, is thinking about that. I don't know if that makes it more obtainable or less. How much of the MIF, I mean, if we don't have the MIF funds to add to this, can this program go forward? Do we have enough money to do microloans without the MIF interest?
I believe so. And then maybe Carla can speak more to like what amounts of interest were pulled, but from what I understand, the interest would get pulled and put into that account annually, so it would continue to grow. We could just exclude the MIF one.
We could do that. That is the largest one, though, because there's almost $1.6 million in that fund, but
Right.
we could not include it. Or what we could do is put them separate. We could
Right.
actually have a fund that's just the MIF stuff, and then the other, and then we have two pots.
What would I guess, so 1.6 for MIF, what's the other one got then?
Well, when we'd add up the other, like, three accounts, so the MIF is at 1.9 right now, but there'd be 800,000 of interest. And then, yes.
I guess my question is what's the source of these other funds? You got MIF funds because, and then you have these other funds for the what, revolving loan fund? I don't know. And what's the source of them? Because when you start going backwards on where the source was and then put it into the statutes to find out what the parameters are for those funds, I don't know if they've released them, or MIF, for instance, you've just kind of said, it's loosely still require these loan requirements through the original statutory process that we received it. So anytime you guys start, like you'll ask me a question on what I can do with these funds and where they are at, I am limited a little bit because I have no idea what the original source was, what the source is, what we're dealing with it. So there's a lot of those, I'd say, undercurrents that I don't see when it comes to the statutory requirements on what it can be used for and repayment plans and all of that kind of stuff.
So your suggestion would be to leave the interest where it is?
Well, my suggestion would be, at least from my standpoint, is to have a better handle on where these accounts are originating from and the sources of money so that we can look at the statute, like the MIF statute and the business subsidy statute specifically gives you requirements on the loan and who can get it and how much they can get and repayment, penalties and requirements. For instance, these business subsidies, if they don't meet those business subsidy requirements for wages and such, then there's leeway, but then there's already also penalty provisions, and there's also repayment provisions that go along with that. And I don't half the time have any idea where the money came from. So that's that's kind of a legal standpoint, just for a conversation. So to answer your question, I have no clue on what to do with, leave it in there, not leave it in there. I just need to know the source, so then when I'm asked questions, I can.
Well, Maggie and I can look at it a little more, and we did look at that when we looked at this as a whole. And, so some of it is down payment assistance, which, that's actually, lowering the cost of the lot. So that didn't have any of those big restrictions. The only other one would be like the IRP loan, so we could look into that.
From what I understand, I spoke to the rep for that one. He said that we have fulfilled our obligations for that, and so that money is ours to use as we see fit.
I guess the question to me would be is do we want to have one microloan program, or do we want to have two microloan programs, one with this MIF stipulation, because it does have a significant amount of money. I don't know what else we're going to use that money for then.
Right.
I'd like to make it as easy as possible for people who want to use it to understand what the rules are and have that up front. And as much transparency as possible starting out. I don't want it to be one of those things where we're looking at it going, all right, well, how do we switch these funds around?
Unless when somebody applies and we know what their business is and we know that they're paying that $17 for sure, like we know
You steer
some businesses are just paying that, we just take it out of that fund.
Steer them to that one.
Yes.
Right.
And
That
we
would be
we steer
why
them.
you would have to.
When they apply, we steer them to the
Yep.
fund that they qualify for.
Yep.
I like that idea. I just don't want to see it made harder for the businesses to apply, because that's one of the
Yeah.
things, every time we've done some sort of program or something, it's a lot of paperwork for people
Right.
to do. And I'd like to simplify that as much as possible. It's probably one of the biggest complaints we've heard over the years.
So is that a motion?
Yeah, I don't know what I would exactly say on that. How would you?
Split it into two?
Put it
Two
into two, basically.
Yeah, I would make a motion to put it into two different funds for the microloan program and direct the business appropriately based on their business needs as well as what their business parameters are. Does that sound pretty good?
How does that sound, Captain?
I'm still writing.
You can go back and listen. Right?
Would council need to do anything with this? Okay.
We should-
They didn't do it last time.
Okay, I didn't know with the splitting of the existing fund, but
Do we have a second on that motion?
A second.
Call roll, please.
I would love to. Pokrzywinski.
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Stai. Yes. Dave, sorry. Grinde.
Yes.
Hecht.
Yes.
Horken.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I will split those and have those numbers ready for the next
Okay.
meeting.
Great,
Sounds
thank
good.
you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Carla.
Thank you, Carla.
Yep. Do you want me to call it the micro loan then? Because we have discretionary loan, or how would you, is there
Or maybe
any
like-
preference of what you want it named so you know what it is?
restricted MIF and maybe unrestricted.
What makes it easier for you to track?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you guys are the one, I know where they are, but for reading the reports, then you have an idea. I mean, we could put discretionary MIF loan. Is that okay?
I like the restricted and unrestricted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can do that too.
Then at least we'll know when we see
So we'll
it.
have restricted discretionary and an unrestricted discretionary. Okay, perfect.
Rules
Thank
and
you.
less rules.
Yep. We won't put that on there.
No, I know.
And that should be ready to like roll out then in that case.
I would, yes,
Yeah.
it should be.
Is there anything else that you would need to help direct those people? Like, is there anything you
think
need
so.
from us, I guess, to
I
make sure
mean-
that they're, I just want to make it as
Yeah.
easy as possible.
Tell all your friends, I guess, if they're looking for some like small amount of money. I think it's like 2,500 to 10,000 with, the short-term financing. If there's a project or a facade or somebody's looking to do something. Advertising. I'll probably do a press release and we'll do like some social media announcement. That way we can get it out.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 6, new business. Spud Jr.
Okay, so just the high level on this, with the pending sale of the 302 Demers building, the Spud Junior's looking to relocate to Grand Forks, and we try to present many different options, and none of them seem to be a really good fit for their needs, so that is what the trajectory looks like.
What business is moving in there?
Tentatively, there's a cannabis company looking to move into it. They're still going through like the due diligence with the state to get like the full licensing.
That's sad because that's 4 restaurants, because we lost Burger King and then Boardwalk.
Little Bangkok.
Little Bangkok moved to Grand Forks and now Spuds. So that's a lot for East Grand Forks to lose.
Yeah, especially downtown.
Yeah, yeah. I will be sad to see them go. They did a lot for our community.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All right, moving on. Mowing contract renewal.
Let's see, so K&H finished up the mowing and they sent over a renewal. We have 10 lots that we have left, and so I don't know if we want to do a 2-year, 3-year, 1-year. I put down the different price breaks, but we're currently on that 2-year 8,800.
Is that based on lots? So like if we sell lots, is there a sliding scale where that would be reduced in terms of
I don't
cost?
believe so.
No,
I don't think so.
that's fixed,
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe.
So regardless,
Yes.
so even
Last
if
time.
Yeah, I
in
get-
3 years, if we only have one lot, it'll be $8,000 to mow
Yeah.
that one.
So what are you paying right now?
It's the 8,800.
I would push back on the contract and,
Get that mower fired up, Ron.
and
Well, I'm just thinking, I mean, realistically, how often do they mow? Twice a month?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so twice a month for 4, maybe 5 months?
From May
When
to
we went
October.
through this, it usually, I think falls into the statute there of the length, and then, because there was one year where the cost was significantly higher because of all the rain that we had,
Yep.
so.
I was just kind of curious if you start figuring on how much a lot would cost to mow. Have some kid do it for $50, you know, I'm just, in my mind.
And we went down that path too, because we asked the same questions, and what we found out is that we don't have the equipment as a city to do the job that needs to happen there, because we don't have the right stuff, and you can't just hire a kid to do it, because.
No, I was kind of multiplying it in my head on 10 lots,
About
twice a
2 years
month.
ago, we had the same conversation.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, there would have been probably 18 to 20 lots to mow.
Correct.
I mean, so there maybe is some validity to,
Did we go out for other pricing?
right.
That's kind of where I'm at is, I mean, if we're down to 10 lots, there was a lot more when we made that contract 2 years ago.
what was the last contract worth?
Same.
It was a 2-year 88.
Sure.
The other thing is, does it have to be done now? I mean, we could sell 5 lots over the winter. You know, because there's something we could look at again in March.
Just tell them you're going out for bid and get 3 prices. At least
Yeah,
that's
and it's coming out in March, because,
Right.
you know, you have been talking to people about selling, you know, buying them, so, you know,
I would want this contract to also have some sort of clause in it that says, you know, each lot is worth X number of dollars to the contract, and if we sell 2 lots, then the amount that we pay goes down by that amount.
Or some amount.
I'm sure there's a fixed mold cost in
Right.
there for
There's
them.
fixed mobile
but,
costs.
Yeah.
Right, by some amount, because to the point, you know, if we sell 8 of them in 2 years, and then we still have
2 left.
2 left, and we're
And we know
paying
which 2.
$8,000 to have 2 lots mowed, that's pretty steep.
Yep.
or a 1-year contract, too. I mean, if they won't do that, you know, 1-year contract for X amount of lots. I mean, there's options.
I like the idea, yeah.
So
Do
you
you-
want to table this and go out for quote?
Yes.
Do you need a motion to go out to bid?
I think so, because it deals with money.
I'll make a motion to go out for bid for this contract.
You want to call it bids, or do you want to just do
Request for
proposals?
proposals.
Request for proposal.
Okay.
Request for proposals,
Yep.
please. Yeah.
And that means you can just
Thanks,
call
Rob.
somebody, too. You can call 4 people. You don't have to have a bid package or anything.
Okay.
Do we have the requirement of what we asked from them?
I might be able to find the one where you guys were going over the grass.
I remember
length.
seeing.
The grass height
Yeah,
and stuff is.
I think I have the stuff
yep,
from
you should
that.
still have that, yes.
Yeah.
All right, we need a second on that.
Well, second.
Call roll, please.
Pokrzywinski.
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Stai. Yes. Grinde.
Yes.
Hecht.
Yes.
Horken.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Carried.
All right, developers' feedback.
Okay, so I reached out to, I think, 5 different groups, and 2 responded, which is better than 0, and had some really great conversations with both the developers. Asked them honest questions for feedback on, like, is it something that we're missing in terms of selling these lots? Could they shine some insight? And there was nothing really specific that we're doing wrong. They said that house building tends to be a little bit slower in the Minnesota border areas, just because a lot of the business tends to go to the North Dakota side. And I was like, well, is it because of regulations? And they're like, the state regulations aren't really the sticking point. Yes, there are some, but it's to the buyer's benefit because they're things that you would want included. And they said that the cost for that's pretty marginal. Marginal's a made-up word. And one developer recommended if there's a way to take it to the state and say, have the state do an interest rate buy down, like a flex pace loan essentially, where they'd help buy it down as a way of making it affordable housing for people, which I thought that was a really unique idea. And then another one had an interesting thing of doing like a ghost post where they basically take one of our lots and then model like what house could fit on it and then put the price on the listing for that and then hopefully draw some interest to buy that house. I don't know if we can do that because then we would be like quasi-endorsing a certain builder to build the house, but
Right.
if maybe they want to take their initiative on it, I'm not sure what the rules are for that. But that sounded interesting because then it would help provide a visual for people instead of just a piece of land to look at.
That would be something that a realtor could do.
Okay.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, I think a realtor could put mock-ups of a house on the lot. I guess my question is what kind of a house are they building that's going to cost $500,000? Like,
It don't take much.
Yeah.
How big of a house are they building? And
I'm
what
not sure.
finishes are they putting on it?
I know that the ones that the North Star neighbors are doing, they're getting heavily subsidized by state grants because I think they're like $250,000 or so. So if they're getting 50% of the cost.
Yeah, but that's through state stuff, believe me.
Can border city credits be used for any of that?
No, it's commercial or industrial.
Okay, I was just checking in case that would be
It's worth it.
something that we could use.
With our house size stipulation on those lots, it doesn't take long to get to that price amount.
Sure.
The covenants are pretty,
Yeah.
But how many
Pretty
lots
stringent.
are still in that covenant? Because there's one, right, the Water's Edge 3 doesn't have covenants. That's why there's smaller
Well,
houses
Water's
there.
Edge Second doesn't have covenants either.
So, how many are in what zone?
I like the idea of putting mock-ups and what it would cost, because just in this conversation, I mean, we're thinking that it costs that much. Maybe
Maybe
we put
the,
something that costs less, and that may attract some people.
maybe the mock-up for each zone, so that, the covenants are different, so that the house could be different?
True.
It's expensive, I know that. All right, moving on, EDAM conference takeaways.
Okay, so this goes a little more in depth about the actual conference. I just made a list of some of the bulleted points that I thought were interesting and useful information. So, like I foreshadowed earlier, we're ahead in terms of our website and our CRM data management, which is exciting. So thanks for approving that earlier this year. It has been pivotal. I had several people in the conference be asking me questions of like, how do you track all these things and like, what software do you use? And they actually talked about the software we used during the presentation. So that was a cool feeling. And then we're ahead in terms of our social media. There were people that were like, we want to do business spotlights in our community. Like, how do you do it? Like, how are they performing? So it was kind of awesome. And then our ecosystem mapping. I added another page to our website because I've noticed that some people are like, I want to start a business, but they just don't know where to start or what questions to ask. So I made an entrepreneur page where they can just kind of read some articles and understand like what is entailed before maybe taking the step into making a business. Also, an interesting thing they told us and that I had heard too from another party, was that site selectors, when they look at your community, before they even reach out, they have already made a decision about your community based on your website, your social media, different like web presences that you have. So that's why it's really important that our website looks really good. We do have our own site selector page, so hopefully it answers a lot of their imminent questions, but trying to put a good face forward so maybe we can encourage them to consider our community. And then the thing that really was interesting was 75% of jobs in Minnesota do not require a 4-year degree. And I thought this was very big because there's a big push for, to go to a 4-year degree when people are going to end up being overeducated when most of our jobs don't require that. And actually, we're very lucky that we have Northland in our community because they talked about the importance of having those technical and smaller community colleges to kind of upskill people quickly for these high-paying, good jobs that don't need a 4-year degree.
She did say enrollment has gone up.
Yeah.
From our first year and up again this year. I think their goal was like 15%, and they're at that, so it's good. That was good to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. Another thing, if we do consider doing any sort of future TIF district, is that if developers are not putting in more equity into the project than the city, that is a big red flag because it's on the developer's interest to make it be successful. And if the city is doing more, that's a bad sign. And then I broke down the two between what a TIF district is and an abatement, because there was some discussion if you have a company that comes to town and you want to help support them. Some communities do like a TIF incentive, whereas abatement might be a better option. So it's something to keep in mind as a future thing if we ever consider using that. And then similarly related is the intercity leadership visits and a cell trip. So you take maybe a couple people from the EDA and the council and some of the staff maybe, and you go visit a city or community that's solved a problem that maybe we're facing and then learn how they solved it so we can kind of take back some of that knowledge to implement locally. It's also another great way, they said, to build connections. So if something does come up and you've got those connections in that community or city, it can lend positively to your community if you're working on something. And then the cell trip is if you go to, say, a business that you really want to come in town, say we want GM or something, we take our leadership team and we go out there and we speak with them about why they should come here. So we're getting face time, we're selling our incentives and our community, and it may not open the door right away, but it could open it for something in the future. So I thought these were helpful. I don't know if anyone wants to talk about them or...
That's pretty spot on, too. Any questions, comments for Maggie on that?
Do you have the statistics on the 75% of jobs?
I can get it. It's from Hutchinson, City of Hutchinson.
There was a big article about it.
If you could send it to me,
Yeah.
I'd appreciate it.
All right, item E under new business, schedule loan committee meeting.
Yes, if we could do that, because we do have one item that might need some attention. For the loan committee, what works well in terms of the 27th, the 30th, the 3rd, and the 4th in terms of the morning?
Can you repeat those dates?
Yes.
Calendar.
27th, 30th, 3rd, or 4th.
Very good.
I can only do the 3rd or 4th. Make whatever time works.
Mornings on those days are fine.
Okay.
Tuesday would have to be earlier than Monday. That 8 a.m. hour works. It did for me last time.
Okay.
Any of those days should work for me as well.
Okay, so maybe November 3rd at 8 a.m.?
Sure. Send an invite.
So much faster. Yes, I will.
That works so much better
Wasn't it
than
wonderful?
whatever the heck you said.
The doodle poll?
Doodle.
I didn't have to answer an email, I just had to answer a question.
I was like, we're going to figure this out.
That's how you get a mayor's attention. FYI.
Well, thanks.
All right. Looking to adjourn.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Call roll.
Oh, it's a.
Oh, yeah.
Done the wrong thing.
We're
We get to
adjourning.
leave, Josh.
What's that, Benny Buckles?
We're good. It's over.
Game over? Thank you, everyone.